morning here in Lagos, Nigeria, and you and I know that the freshness of a new day brings lots of hope and opportunities, also supported with positivity. And I hope this day is all of these combined, even as we begin our voyage on today's edition of Maritime Today. Not to forget, the program is a bi-weekly, adventure made possible courtesy of the nation's economic regulator, the Nigerian Shippers Council. It creates opportunities for various experts, stakeholders, and industry watchers to inform, educate, and enlighten Nigerians on various operations, services that takes place within and outside of the shores of Nigeria. You're welcome to another beautiful edition, the 27th day in the month of May 2023. My name is Ololade Adiromu. In today's Nigeria, logistics services are now an integral part of our everyday life in major cities, with businesses and individuals embracing it either by road, using delivery vans and bikes to pick up and also deliver items, as well as, other essentials. The freight and logistics market in Nigeria is segmented. When we talk about function, freight transport, freight forwarding, warehousing, courier, express, parcel, value-added services, cold chain logistics, and a lot more. Now, when you also look at the end user's end, you talk about construction, oil and gas, agriculture, fishing, forestry, manufacturing, and these and more activities are things that are done that industry. Well, on today's edition of the program, the freight forwarding business will be on our talking burner, as I will be speaking with a lady of repute who has grown through the ranks in organization. We'll be discussing enhancing productivity in Nigeria, the freight and logistics approach. But all right, then, the program still Maritime Today on Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM this beautiful Saturday morning, wet one here in Lagos, Nigeria. And joining me on the program this morning to discuss enhancing productivity in Nigeria, the freight and logistics approach, I have Ololade Dawodu. She is the head clearing and forwarding SIFAX Logistics. It's so good to have you in the studios this morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you very much. I'm very well.
How's it getting here anyway?
It wasn't so bad. Quite a few rains, but it was good.
Good to hear that.
Thanks.
So let's kickstart our conversation. A few days ago, the International Maritime Organization, they did, celebrate us women in maritime. How do you feel as a woman in the maritime sector?
As a woman in the maritime sector, I mean, it's been a roller coaster of a journey, to be quite honest. I've always been the type of person that would not take no for an answer. I don't think there's any role, any profession that a woman can take on. So it's been a wonderful journey so far, I would say. I'm a go-getter, so nothing stops me.
I like that.
I just get on with it.
So this is really, telling us, even with the way the international community is beginning to celebrate us, it shows that we are getting there very soon. Possibly we'll be taking over.
Absolutely, and it's evident in every other sector of the economy, to be very honest, so not just in the maritime sector.
All right, then, let's now come to our thrust of today's discussion. When we talk about clearing and forwarding in Nigeria now, how do you assess activities in the last couple of months for us, looking at year 2023?
Year 2023, well, there's so much that has gone on before the year 2023. Of course, there was COVID. There was a COVID era that's really put a strain on. But
then we are an essential, service industry. So for us, COVID was not really a break, if you ask me.
Well, in terms of volumes, yes, it did, cause a bit of a strain in that industry. Of course, if there's no volume, the clearing and forwarding business would actually feel the effect of that. So, but this is not to say that there's still not enough activities. There has been a lot of activities in the industry. Like we know, where Nigeria is a seemingly import-dependent nation. In as much as we like to think we are, we still have other countries in our space in Africa that are doing a lot more than we are. But then again, we're doing quite a lot. Of course, there's the export side. There's a growing increase in exportation in Nigeria as well. So that has also created more traffic in clearing and forwarding world. So yes, it's been up and down, but there's always something to do. It's a market. It's a business that can never fully be fully saturated.
Explored.
Exactly. So yes, there's quite a lot. There's so many areas one can look into where clearing and forwarding is concerned. It doesn't have to be the clearing aspect of it, the customs clearance. There's so many other areas.
When you talk about other areas now, you want to mention a few for us?
Okay, so for example, there's the documentation, part of clearing and forwarding is a very, very huge, very technical, very sensitive aspect of
that's one aspect that importers and sometimes exporters do have challenges.
Exactly. Yes, absolutely. Okay. So that's one area that as someone who's looking to go into the business, you want to actually narrow down your activities and operations too, because there's so much to tell, there's so much that people don't know about. Everybody just wants to get their goods in, and they don't necessarily know how to, or what documentation, what proper documentation to do before a shipment can be imported and exported out of the country.
So aside the documentation, what areas are we still going to talk about?
So there's the customs brokerage. There's it's not just customs, there are other government agencies that also play a very huge role in clearing and forwarding. So yes, there's that aspect. There's the ground transport. There's the delivery.
Ground transport covers which area now?
So it's clearing and forwarding basically. So the process also involves moving the goods from point A to point B, either from the port or to the port. So
meaning there's a line of business, one way or the other, you have to relate with so many people. Talk about the Nigerian Customs Service, the trucking community. What else again do we have to think about?
So there are other government agencies that regulate certain commodities. So you have the NDLEA, you have NAFDAC, you have Standard Organization of Nigeria, you have NESRA, you have the Nigerian Agricultural Quarantine Services. So there's so many agencies that also play a role depending on what the commodity is, and they regulate certain aspects of, they regulate different commodities. So yes, so there's a lot of interaction there with all the other government agencies. Yes.
So I'm still going to come back to that assessment that we started with, when we started the discussion this morning. So looking at it so far for year 2023, how would you rate this, industry, talking about logistics? How well have we performed?
Well, I would like to say that we perform, even with the different factors that have played out that have tried to hamper on operations. I would say Nigeria generally we've done so well. Like I said, there's the manufacturing side to it. There's so many things that we import into Nigeria, and like I said, when we started this, we're very import dependent, and of course so now let's try not to even focus on just imports. There's so much to do on the exportation side as well. I mean, apart from crude oil, there's the agro products that and I think we've experienced
do you see us, or do you feel so far we've been embracing that side of exports well enough?
Not well. I wouldn't say well enough, no, because there's so much more to do. There's a lot going on, outside of Nigeria. Nigeria has signed different bilateral and multilateral agreements with Africa, with the after agreement that was signed in, I think, 2018. We can see that there's going to be a lot of interaction with other African countries and even beyond Africa in terms of exportation, in terms of movement of commodity from one African country to another, and majorly in the agricultural sector. So that's one area that I think we need to do more.
Alright, then, you're just joining the conversation this morning. It is Maritime Today on Lagos Traffic Radio at 6.1 FM, and Ololade Dawodu is with me. She is the head clearing and forwarding. Together this morning, enhancing productivity in Nigeria, the freight and logistics approach is, our talking point. So far, we're just trying to set the ball rolling when we talk about clearing and forwarding in Nigeria. So now you take us through, the process for someone who is, because earlier when you were talking, you were trying to possibly even take a newbie, someone who wants to come into the business through the process. So really give us basics now, more like steps to clearing and forwarding.
Okay, so like I was saying earlier, the documentation aspect is one thing that you have to focus on. So you have to learn, what requirements, what the government requirements, government agency, what commodity that they regulate, what you need to have in place, and of course you can't. There's so many regulations that are that come into play when we talk about importation in Nigeria. So one has to keep abreast with that. And then once that is done,
as an importer, what can it cost me if I have a wrong documentation?
Oh, it can cost you a lot. It can cost you. You talk about demurrage in the port or at the airport, wherever the shipment has come through, where your documentation is wrong, the time it takes to actually rectify the whatever anomalies there could take you weeks.
Wow.
And depending on the volume of shipment that you've gotten, you could be paying.
So that means we no longer have that era where I just get my goods, get a clearing and forwarding agent to do it for me. I still have to involve myself as an importer.
Well, yes, and it does pay off because you find that it's a very large industry. You have people that how do I put this? We have the bad eggs amongst us that are all just about the money aspect of it. But then again, it could go very wrong. It could go very absolutely wrong when we talk about documentation. So it pays off for you to actually learn, for you to understand that space before you dabble into such importation or exportation. So I would say learn that aspect first, and then of course at some point, once you know your onions, once you know exactly what needs to be done and when it needs to be done, then you can now bring in the expertise of a licensed clearing agent. There's a part of the process where you as an importer cannot do it yourself. So at that point you need somebody who's licensed to carry the process. And of course throughout the process, like I said, the industry has advanced from what it used to be. Growing up, I thought clearing and forwarding business was for the uneducated. That notion that that we always had about a clearing and forwarding agent. It's no more the case now.
But are we saying that we do not still have the uneducated in that industry?
Well, yes, we do, and then experience with technology advancement, and a lot of these government agencies, especially customs, have done so much to improve on technology where goods declaration is concerned. There's a lot of collaborations with other government agencies, so it's not just, of course, customs plays a very huge role, and then they've come together with all the other government agencies to make that process quite seamless. So there's a single window where you can do all your goods declaration and do all the interactions with all the agencies just on one portal. So that's also helped a lot. Information wise, you go on the trade portal and everything you need to know about importation is there. So to be very candid, nobody has an excuse not to know what to do.
Interesting.
You don't have an excuse.
But so far for you, let me even try to find out how long have you really settled in this clearing and forwarding?
Okay, well, industry-wise, I've been in the industry for 13 years.
That's a long time.
I know, saying that. That's a long time. I know, right? But but clearing and forwarding-wise, this is actually my 5th year doing core clearing and forwarding operations.
So in this, 3 years of yours now, what are some
5 years?
5 years, what are some of the things you have noticed?
Well, a lot. Everybody just wants to get in that space. They think that there's a lot of money to be made, which there is, but guess what? Just as there's a lot of money to be made, there's actually there's 1,001 ways you lose money. So it's getting it right. I think I can never overemphasize getting your documentation right, because that's what clearing and forwarding is about. Learning the technicalities. Yes, we're not. You have the manufacturing industry, you have the pharmaceuticals. You can't know everything about that space, but trust me, like I said, the platforms, the websites, there's a lot of information out there that would help you, that would aid that learning process. So like I said, nobody has an excuse not to get it right. So it's there. So just learn know exactly what needs to be done at the right time, and then the rest is secondary.
All right, we'll go for this quick break now, and then when we come back, you can also be a part of the program this morning. 0809-912-0777, 0915-387-7127, and when we come back, she will be taking us through some of the challenges currently facing the clearing and forwarding agents in that industry. And also, I'd like to know, in the last 4 months, some of the major goods and services that have been thriving in terms of imports and exports within that industry. These and more coming after this quick break. to stick around. All right then, back to the conversation. Okay, before we went on that break, I did say that you'll be coming to tell us some of the talking about goods and services that have been thriving in terms of import and export in the last 4 months before we now get to the challenges. And not to forget 0809-912-0777, 0915-387-7127. That's the number to call to be a part of the conversation this morning. So let's quickly look at it. What are some of the goods?
So to be honest, I don't think there's any there aren't any like specific goods that it's everything. It's literally everything. And of course, if you break it down into various sectors of the economy or various industries, like I said, from the manufacturing to pharmaceuticals to automobile, it's literally everything. Raw materials for different fast-moving consumer goods. It's everything.
I was thinking I'll be hearing perishables like tomatoes. Since looks like that's the expensive commodity we have out there as we speak today.
Right now, I know, but not definitely. Maybe it's processed form. Yes, that's also something, but not, of course, not fresh. Not fresh tomatoes. No. Of course, the exotic fruits that we don't grow here. Yes, they do come in. But that's a very, very small portion.
What about our exports?
So our exports, like I said, we do a lot of grains, from sesame seeds to cocoa, crops like ginger. And I think that there might be a steady rise in exportation of some fruits that that are locally grown in Nigeria. Like I said, there's so much more that we can do.
It's actually a big market.
It's a huge market that there are other countries in West Africa that also do same, and I feel like we need to look more towards that area.
So really, Ololade, from all of this we've been saying all the while on the program, looks sweet and interesting to the ears, but then you and I know it's not really. What are some of the challenges people within this industry are facing as we speak?
So it's government regulations, and of course one has to keep abreast with new regulations being introduced as far as the maritime, the shipping, the logistics and transport industry is concerned. Infrastructure, basic amenities like the road network. So it's one thing to clear shipments from the ports, and it's another thing to make sure that you get to the final destination
as and when
due and safely in one piece. So so that's another thing that we know that we're constantly having to face. And that's one challenge that we're constantly having to face. So of course the government can do a lot more in that regard. Of course, we're seeing constructions here and there. So part of Papa is currently under construction. So every now and again there's always something going on, but it's taking us too long to get to where we are. So it just makes one think, how long are we going to do this for? And then of course another aspect to look at is that especially in these parts in Lagos, where we have the ports in Lagos, I know there's a lot that the Nigerian government is currently doing to break that jinx, or to break that concentration in one place. So the new Lekki Deep Port just recently opened, and we're looking forward to the volumes being shared to that area, so that there's not too much concentration in Apapa, in our Lagos port. So that's one aspect. So there's so many, like I said, so many man-made challenges as well. You have those small guys in the sector, in that coming and forwarding space that also do business and try to make it difficult for us corporate organizations to also operate in that space. And that's that area where pricing is concerned, it's quite difficult to place yourself.
Really, I sometimes wonder, why is it that if I go to meet freight forwarder A, I'm getting a particular price. When I go to B, I get another. Go to C, I get another.
Exactly. So that's what I was trying to get at. So you have the one-man coming and forwarding, agent that has no overhead. He has nothing to lose, as long as he is able to get the job done. I'll charge as little as I can, make some profits, maybe thrive on volumes, and he's good. and then you have the corporate guys like us. We have so much more overheads. We have we have assets in place. For a company like SIFAX, we have our own trucks. We have truck maintenance is one thing. So you can't expect that that one-man client agent will charge for a job is the same thing that we charge. We're also giving you quality.
Okay, so let me begin to take some of the comments coming in on WhatsApp here. This one says, well done, sir and ma'am. Okay, it's a mass. It's a new edition of the show this morning. Another one here says, good morning, Folashade and your guest. I have been listening to this program for a while, and I must confess, this is the first time you are bringing a female freight forwarder. So I'd like her to tell us the prospect of a female rising high in this profession of freight forwarding. This is coming from Folake Nibechi.
Folake, there's so much you can do in this space. So much. Like I was saying earlier, you just need to identify and narrow it down to just one thing that will make you stand out from the rest. Like I said, if you were a documentation guru, trust me, you don't even need to do much for people to come to you. So I don't know why I'm leaning more towards documentation, because that's one area. It's one area that's where we fall short as client and forwarding agents.
Well, usually, yes.
So it's a huge playground where there's space for everybody. So just figure it out. Just say this is what I mean. I'm also available, to give further advice. Because I would really love to see more women come and play in this sector. I mean, this, as long as you're bold. I went to see a very senior customs officer yesterday, and I gave him my card, and of course the whole time we were talking, his head was almost down, and the moment I looked at my card and he saw head of clearing and forwarding, and he looked at me and and I was expecting him to say more, but he didn't, but I could tell what he was thinking in his head. So yes, a woman in the industry, I don't think there's any boundaries. I don't think there's a limit to what you can do.
No difference if you ask me.
Exactly, we're not different.
It's just the sex.
Even there you go. Even where physical strength is required, trust me, we're not lacking. So I would say go for it. There's so much to do out there. There's so much.
So Ololade, if I have a truck to clear, let's say at Thinkan Island, I'm taking it to Okukumaiko. How long does it take me to get it off your port and then get it to that place?
So if I get you correctly, the current, based on the experience and with what is
that's going on.
I would say the average time to clear a consignment from the ports would range between 7 to 10 working days at the moment.
Why?
Well, it could take shorter. It could take less time than that. But you just want to give, especially when you're dealing with an importer, you don't want to shoot yourself in the foot and say, I can clear and deliver your shipment in 2 days, and it'll come to you. And that's because there's so many external factors that play, where clearing and forwarding is concerned. So there's you have issues like the network, like the network challenges.
Yes, that's
many of the government agencies have done a lot to make sure that everything is automated and is digitalized and all that. But come on, you can't put that. And it cuts across every other sector. So you have whereby you're clearing the shipment at the port and the network is a problem. You have network challenges, and for a whole day you're going back and forth. There's fluctuations and you just can't get things done. And of course, yes, as much as we would like to get to a point in clearing and forwarding where
I see my goods today, and I get to deliver to my destination before the end of the day.
Exactly. We want that's where we want to see this industry get to. But then again,
because someone will tell you other clients are achieving it. So
I would like to see them achieve it in one day, because to be honest with you,
it's actually going to make the business process more easy and beautiful for all.
When there's less human interaction with all these government agencies, it's doable.
All right, more questions here for you. Time running quite fast now. Hello, Traffic Radio. Your guest says she spent 13 years in this industry. How would she rate the present government in terms of policies for the advancement of our profession? This is coming from Benga.
Present government. I mean, it's. I don't think it's any different from what it has been before this present government. It's the same thing. There's always improvement in governance. Exactly. So, as far as the present government is concerned, I don't think it's been different, to be honest, than any other government. Yeah, in fact, what we've even seen in recent times is the advancements in technology. So you'd see the likes of NAFDAC, for example. A lot of their processes, as far as port inspection, the port inspection directorate is concerned, is done online. So you literally don't have to physically go to NAFDAC office to get that part of your documentation or that part of the process completed. So a lot has been done. A lot of resources has been put into achieving that. So I give it to those government regulatory.
Okay, so let's round off with this question here. This says, a wonderful day to you, Ololade, and same here from me. What is the difference between a clearing and forwarding practitioner and a shipper? This coming from Mavis in Isolo.
Okay, so like we said at the beginning of the show, clearing and forwarding is a part of supply chain and logistics. So a shipper is if we're talking about importation, a shipper is where it starts from at origin. So a shipper is the person who would ship from. So a shipper can be the buyer. It can be a shipper can be the seller, the manufacturer. So whoever is starting the process. So if it's exportation, then it's person on this side who's exporting the goods. Whereas the clearing and forwarding agents is the person who would now do the clearing process. So the shipment has gotten to destination. The clearing and forwarding agent is the person, a licensed clearing and forwarding agent.
I like that.
Is the person, exactly. So everybody knows that you have to be licensed to operate in that space. Yeah. Is the person who will then do the
Everybody's just coming to you to tell you, I can do
it. Yeah. And in fact,
we have so many of them telling you, I can do the job.
So they're brokers, and where you have too many people in that process, it gets complicated because things are moving from one hand to another hand. You're saying you can do it, but you're not actually.
When there is a challenge, you won't know
exactly. Which is why I say always do your own research first. There's so much out there for you to get, where you can get.
Let's begin to take this morning, Ololade, and then to round off discussion, looking at this logistics, industry now, what can government do to improve, what we have today?
Ease of doing business, simply put. We talk about ease of doing business.
Ease of doing business is a word and looks like
we just forever. And it's not just in our space, in the logistics or in the transport or shipping space. It cuts across every sector in the economy. We want to. I mean, it's one before you even get to the point where your expertise come to play. It's the infrastructure. It's the roads. It's electricity. It's it's all of that put together. So once all of that is in place, then we can now say, okay, go through the rudiments. You have the right to licenses and permits to actually operate in this space, and then then the government regulation they need to be less stiff, less stiff, and more. What's the word now? More accommodating. Yes, exactly.
Saying it together.
Yes. Right. But we keep pushing. We keep putting in our efforts.
We look forward to having you soon again on the space here, Ololade Dawodu. Thank you so much for being a part of the conversation this morning. So, in one word, how would you tell people within this community to make sure they do the right thing always? In one word.
In one word. I'd say have integrity. Once you have integrity, every other thing follows. That's the path that you set for yourself to do things right.
Thank you so much, and that's Alpha will go on today's edition of the program. Ololade Dawodu, Head Clearing and Forwarding SIFAX Logistics, has been my guest. Victor Terry has produced this edition of the program. Ololade Dawodu is my own name. Let me say a big thank you to the Shippers Council family. Ricky Adikri Aguyaji, not forgetting Honorable Emmanuel Jimmy. The program makes a return on Wednesday at 9:15 a.m. Connect with the Nigerian Shippers Council after now at NG Shippers, and you can also connect with me at Shade Aderowu. And not to forget, as part of activities to mark the end of the first term and usher in the second term of Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, there's a novelty football match that will be going on today at Campus Square on Lagos Island. The time is 2 p.m. And as part of that match, we will be having our governor. He would kick off the game. Also, the outgoing executive team will play against a civil service thing in a 30-minute game. This is coming in from Benga on Motor Show, the Chair, Media and Publicity Committee. We'll go for this. Let me just sign out here and let the Security 247 family take over the conversation.